Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Hey, look at this. I'm in a different corner, but look. Oh. The world is scheduled to be available in approximately 26 hours. Yeah, the time is virtually upon us. It's going to be 11 o'clock UK time, I believe. I'll just absolutely have to check that. I believe 11 o'clock UK time tomorrow night. The Classic WoW servers will open and I will be there and streaming the queue. It's all I can probably say. I'll be streaming the queue because it's probably going to be very busy. If I just jump to change the realm, you can see here the server that I'm on, Pyrewood Village, full. Firemore, full. Full. It's all full. So, in this video, I just wanted to go through a couple of bits of the plan and kind of go over the video which I did. Some people just, well, literally hundreds of people, to be honest with you. Like, no, we would have loved to have just heard you waffle about Classic and your kind of experience at certain times. So okay, I'm gonna try and, because that video got deleted, I'm gonna try and not copy, but I'm gonna do the same beats that I did in that video too. So first and foremost, yes, I'll be creating a guild. What it's gonna be called yet, you're gonna have to find out on stream. Probably Heel versus Babyface. Nothing particularly, out there. What is the plan for the guild? Well, the plan is to let anyone who wants to play Classic seriously in. I mean, if you think it's just going to be a fad, probably not bother, because if you're inactive for too long a period of time, we'll only remove you anyway. But I'm looking for people who are going to be active in Classic, and I don't mind what you want to do. If you just want to level up, if you and do professions and explore or whatever it is. Or if you want to push yourself to dungeoneering or raiding or whatever. I'm looking for all those people. I'm looking for all of those people. So people that just want to have fun, engage, socialise. Those are the types of people I'm looking for. So there's no sort of like waiting lists or applications you have to fill in or none of that nonsense. I don't want to turn Classic WoW into a job for people. I want Classic WoW to be what it is, which is a fun, joyful experience. Tough experience, hard experience, but fun experience. So, I'm not saying, right, we're going to... there's going to be no whip crapping or... crapping? Yeah, whip crapping. You heard. I got it right first. Whip cracking or anything of that ilk. I'm not trying to put people off. I'm trying to allow people to have some funsies. And then I'm going to personally go at my own pace as well. I'm in no rush to zip up to level 60. I'm in no rush to get into Nax Ramus. I just want to enjoy myself. I just want to enjoy the old world. I want to enjoy the first 40 levels of walking around before I can even get on a fucking mount. I want to enjoy the fact that we're going to be grounded again and not able to fly. God, it's so hot today. It's unbelievable. I just want to appreciate the game for what it is, and hopefully there'll be certain parts of the world where you'll get those triggers, you'll get those memory triggers. You know how sometimes a sound or a smell or a taste can trigger a memory? Well, I'm maybe, hopefully, there'll be those instances. And you've got to remember there's going to be some very specific changes to the world, apart from the flying. Hyjal isn't going to be available. Of course, there's going to be no Blood Mist Isle. There's going to be no Uldum. There's going to be no Arathi Highlands. Although, those zones are gone. There's going to be no Caldenas either. Because you're just going to get the portal area. You're not going to be able to get through the portal. That didn't, I believe, appear until Burning Crusade. So there are going to be some significant world changes. Doesn't mean that we can't still scooch through Stratholme and stuff. We'll see. No, you can't. You won't be able to do that anyway. You just get murdered. You'll just get absolutely minced by the mobs anyway. Yeah, there's going to be so many things that you can't do anymore. Getting the... sorry, I've gone off on one already. The holy water at Stratholme. Okay. So that is kind of like the general plan for me. Now, if you haven't heard, Blizzard have done something as regards to the skeletons. I'm going to touch on this briefly. They've done something as regards to the skeletons. So when you die, you leave a skeleton. However, when you die again, the first skeleton, I believe, disappears, and you only have the one skeleton. Now, the reason why Blizzard have done this is they said that they don't want people to create offensive messages using dead bodies, or they don't want people to advertise using dead bodies and stuff like that. This seems real prissy to me. You know, the actions of what would probably be an absolute minuscule bunch of people versus the vast majority. It does feel like punishing everyone for one person's actions. And I don't like that arbitrary kind of banning or arbitrary kind of punishment system, etc. If somebody does something like that and you make it a TOS not to do, then punish them accordingly. But don't punish everybody else, for goodness sake. And you may say, well, okay, but what's the point? What's the point? Well, I've rolled on a PvE realm. This is something people have wanted me to discuss as well. Why did you roll on a PvE realm and not a PvP realm, Az? Okay, I'll go into that. Because I'm a YouTuber and I do want to create content. I do want to be able to go out there and create content about Classic. And the last thing you want when you're on a PvP realm is to be ganked to hell. Especially when you've got, a recognisable name. And I don't mean that in an egotistical way. But that's just the nature of the beast. So to be able to move around unhindered in a PvP world just allows me to be able to create content and also just behave in it in a more relaxed manner. I will absolutely be engaging in PvP. No doubt whatsoever, folks. No doubt. But the thing is, the PvP I will be participating in, and this is going to get back to the skeletons as well. I have no doubt whatsoever that the Alliance are going to start arriving at South Shore and Dark Shore versus South Shore versus Tarrant, things like that. They're going to kick off, and I'm absolutely going to be joining in, no doubt whatsoever. So I will be having my fair share of PvP and battlegrounds and all that kind of jazz. 100%. But this is another reason for the skeleton, the sadness about the skeletons, because when you do get into those epic battles at Tarrant Mill, when you do go into those epic battles at South Shore, then you have this field of skeletons, which tells the story of the battle. It tells you how brutal it was. And how visceral it was, and all that kind of stuff. And to have that not any longer be part of the process is sad. And again, comes across as very, very prissy by Blizzard for doing this. Comes across as very snowflakey. Don't be reactionary. React accordingly. But don't be preemptively reactionary. It's no good. You only make yourself look stupid. You only hinder other people's enjoyment. We want to know the story of these battles. We want to know where they happened. You never know. You could just be in, I don't know, Western Plaguelands, for argument's sake. And there was a scene of a huge battle that went on between the Horde and the Alliance. And you'd be like, whoa, what was the story of this battle? And all that. As RPGers, we love shit like that. So I would implore Blizzard to reconsider that decision. It makes you look like dicks. So one of the reasons why I chose Pyrewood. Now, I'm not, there isn't a huge variety of choice in terms of server. I had Miracle Raceway, or I could have done Hydraxian Warlords, but Pyrewood Village. But the reason why Pyrewood Village immediately took my attention was because I'm rolling Horde. I saw Asmongold's video saying make the right decision, roll Alliance. He's lucky he's on the US servers, that's all I can say. All I can say to that is I'm remembering my first experience, ladies. You never forget your first time. You know what I'm saying? And my first time, God, I was so bad. But that's another story for another time. I remember... Are you a virgin? No, I promise I'm not. I remember rolling the Undead Warlock after watching the cinematic. And so Pyrewood Village, of course, is the village next to the Wall of Gilneas. And that whole area, the whole Silver Pine Forest area and all that, for me, when I first started the World of Warcraft, was just epic beyond comparison. I'm this undead, forsaken, rolling around the place, not having a clue what I'm doing in this game. And I'm just seeing all these destroyed villages, towns. And I'm thinking to myself in those days, again, of all the stories that these were telling. I'm not trying to shit on the post-Cataclysm world, but I don't like the new Forsaken aesthetic one bit. I don't. It's very comical and cartoony and sort of black and white, Frankenstein, Dracula, Boris Karloff type of thing. Whereas pre-Cataclysm, Brill, Sepulchre, they told a story. They told the story of the lost citizens of Lordaeron. They told the story of the plague and the scourge and how their lovely towns, and we know that they're lovely because we have the benefit of the Caverns of Time to show what Stratholme was like pre-plague, etc. And you just think about the dilapidated state that Brill is in. And they were the OG buildings. This was the town hall. This was the inn. This was the stables. And to have them in such a state of disrepair just showed that the people who were lost to the scourge, who had their independence brought back to them by Sylvanas, were in some way, shape or form attempting to relive their old lives, which they could never do. And it was heartbreaking for me. I know it seems a bit sad. But, you create these stories and images and whatnot in your brain. As, like I said, as an RPGer. My love for this genre materialized from RPGs, not MMOs. From RPGs. And what made RPGs so special was the stories, the narrative, the characters. And so when it translated from a regular RPG into an MMORPG, you suddenly were online with other people playing the game, sure, but your mindset at that time, for me, was still, what story does Brill tell me? Going through Silver Pine, seeing the deserted forest, farms, seeing the destroyed farms, seeing the destroyed little towns on the way to the Sepulchre. I think it had Amber Mill, which was taken over by the... Was it Amber Mill? Taken over by the Kirin Tor? And that's another thing for another time. And then, of course, you had Pyrewood Village. You had the village which was linked to Gilneas, again in a state of disrepair, and the whole aspect of the Gilneans locking themselves behind the walls, almost becoming a xenophobic nation. these are incredible stories. You know, these are absolutely, when you create them in your brain and you think about them, and you think about the loss, and you think about what happened here. And I've always wanted, and it's never materialized. I'm not blaming Blizz for this, folks. This is just a personal desire. I've always wanted them to tell the story beyond Stratholme. I've always wanted to have a situation in the World of Warcraft where we are, I don't know if it's going to be raid orientated or even story orientated or Caverns of Time orientated or what, where we see the zones of Eastern Plaguelands, Western Plaguelands, etc. As they were, and how the plague swept across those zones into Lordaeron, into Brill, into Sepulchre, etc. I always wanted to see that. It's never going to happen. I very much doubt it's ever going to happen. But I always wanted to see that story. So because I don't think I was ever going to see that story, I had to concoct it myself. My brain had to concoct it myself. And of course, you have the other... Sorry, I know I'm waffling on a bit. I told you when I said in yesterday's video, I just made this waffly video about these thoughts that I had about Cataclysm, and why I did, about Classic, and why I did certain things, and da-da-da. Vanilla I'm really talking about, as opposed to Classic. And then, of course, you have the mystery of the Scarlet Monastery. I say mystery because now, for years upon years, we've had 2 dungeons. We're going to go back to the 4 dungeons. You had Shadowfang Keep and all that kind of stuff. But to me, it was always the Wall of Gilneas, which was the question. Will we ever see Gilneas? Will we ever see what happened to the citizens of there? What they're doing? How they survived? And we did eventually. And it's one of my pet peeves in the World of Warcraft is this incredible city of Gilneas just going to waste as a starting zone only, existing in the outside world. Ooh, 25 hours now, folks. Existing in the outside world, and yet barren, empty, vacuous. And some people might say, well, that's the beauty of it. You know, you have this city and it's just going to, you know, it's going to waste. Yeah, you have these PvP elements to it, but it kind of saddens me there. So those were kind of like my thoughts about that. And just one more thing I wanted to say. I'm so glad, legitimately, I'm so glad I didn't participate in the beta. I really am. Because you only have one chance to create a first impression. We know that. That's why things like Battle for Azeroth went down the shitter so quick. But you only have one chance to create a first impression. Now, I've already had a first impression of the World of Warcraft. I had it in March 2007 and it blew my socks off. It blew my socks off, and I had 4 incredible years, 27, 28, 2007, 2008, I'm going crazy, 2009, 2010. I had 4 incredible years on that game before things started to turn. Not immediately go bad, but just started to turn, you know. And to have the opportunity to have certain... Because there are things that I've totally forgotten. And to have the opportunity to have those first impressions back again, even though it's a second impression, you get what I'm trying to say. To have those moments of revelation, like the, oh, of course, all that kind of stuff. Oh, it made me happy. It made me happy. It really made me happy. Oh, there we go. I think I've taken up enough of your time this Sunday with some waffly woo. So yeah, there'll be another video out tomorrow before the release of the expansion. Because I've only literally just got up a little while ago, I will move. I was going to do Sunday Mass today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and move Sunday Mass to Monday Mass, So we will do Monday Mass before Classic releases. That is the plan. And we'll see how it goes from there. But I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care.